In Chicago over the weekend, at least 54 people were shot. This is just over Labor Day weekend, 7 killed. Several of the incidents were mass shootings with multiple victims at a single scene. In one instance, a teenage girl was hit with a stray bullet. The violence comes as President Trump threatens to send federal agents and National Guard troops to Chicago to quell the crime there, despite objections from the city's mayor, Brandon Johnson, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Unfortunately, Joe, this is not unusual in Chicago, which has been plagued by gun violence for generations, not years, for generations.
54 people shot this weekend in Chicago, 7 killed. I mean, and those numbers just keep piling up.
At least 57 people were shot, including 8 killed. Several other incidences also included multiple victims. In Ellis Park, 5 people were shot. In Humboldt Park, 4 wounded, and another 7 in a shooting in Bronzeville.
You're looking at the scene of a mass shooting in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood early this morning, where police tell us 5 people between 17 and 36 years old were hurt. Recovering 4 guns from the scene, investigators are still looking into what happened. It's the 3rd mass shooting we've told you about this holiday weekend. With 7 people shot Saturday on South State Street, 2 women and 5 men hurt. Police say a shooter opened fire on a crowd from a car. And Sunday in Humboldt Park, 4 hurt in a drive-by shooting on West Haddon, opening fire from 2 cars. 3 women and a man shot
during a gathering near a park in the city's Oakland neighborhood.
It's one of dozens of shootings in Chicago during the holiday weekend. Judy Wang is live from police headquarters with more.
CPD will release the official numbers tomorrow morning. We counted 50 people shot, 8 of those people killed so far this holiday weekend. That is since Friday evening. At least 3 of the weekend incidents were those with multiple victims, including this morning's shooting, which happened in a South Side park. That shooting occurred in Ellis Park just after 1 this morning, just steps from the University of Chicago Charter School. Police were in that area responding to a disturbance when they heard gunfire. They found 5 people shot near 36 and Cottage Grove. The victims included a 17-year-old boy who is in critical condition at the University of Chicago Hospital. Detectives are questioning someone in connection with the shooting. Police found 4 guns at the scene. Social media posts indicate a reunion party was taking place in the park. 7 people were shot about a mile away near 35th and State late Saturday. Police say a car with several people in it pulled up to a crowd. At least 1 person in that car opened fire. The victims were men and women, reported to be in good condition. CPD is also looking for suspects in a Humboldt Park shooting that wounded 4 people Sunday morning. This was also a drive-by incident with the shooters firing on a crowd that was outside from 2 cars at Haddon and California. Crime scene techs found nearly 70 shell casings. Now, the weekend victims also include a 14-year-old boy. He appeared to be the youngest victim so far this weekend. He was shot and wounded in Garfield Park. Now, according to our count, the numbers we have so far may have surpassed last year's total for Labor Day weekend. Last Labor Day weekend, a total of 31 people were shot. Outside police headquarters, Judy Wang.
What President Trump is doing is unprecedented and unwarranted. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. It is un-American. In the Oval Office, Donald Trump looked at the assembled cameras and asked for me personally to say, "Mr. President, can you do us the honor of protecting our city?" Instead, I say, "Mr. President, do not come to Chicago."
So this is what we are going through in Chicago, and for the governor and the Democrats, Brandon Johnson, to have a problem with President Trump coming in and want to make our streets safer, it's disgusting. These people are evil, and like President Trump said, they are incompetent.
Shot over the Labor Day weekend, and this clown still spews his rhetoric. And not one of those protesters actually live in the neighborhoods affected by the crime. Play the clip.
Some new details now on a violent Labor Day weekend in the city of Chicago. Since Friday night, 54 people have been shot, 7 people killed. The youngest victim, just 14.
Worse than last
Sadly,
year.
shootings are up from last year's Labor Day when 42 people were shot, 10 people were killed, according to the Sun-Times. All this amid the president's threats to send in the National Guard to crack down on crime. Even as city leaders say crime is down. This evening, NBC5's V-Win spoke with violence prevention groups who are now urging neighbors to step in and to help break the cycle.
No federal troops in the city of Chicago.
Look at this clown.
No militarized force in the city of Chicago.
Stupid.
We're going to defend our democracy in the city of Chicago.
All rhetoric.
We're going to protect the humanity of every single person in the city of Chicago.
In Chicago, everybody got to get down. Everybody got to get down because they should. Everybody down. Look, you kids are running.
When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. He's a hardcore.
The past Labor Day weekend in Chicago, tragedy struck again. 54 people were shot and 7 lives were lost at the endless wave of gun violence. Families are mourning, community are halting, and the city is once more searching for answers. In this documentary, we are taking a close look at what happened, the pain it left behind, and what leaders must do to bring real change.
So according to the crime stats in Chicago, during the Labor Day weekend, there has been 53 shootings in the city of Chicago. I think a few of those people were unalived. And as this go on, the mayor of Chicago, the incompetent mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, still believes that there is no crime problem in Chicago. He actually believes that his administration has lowered crime in Chicago. 53 shootings during the weekend, the Labor Day weekend, and crime is down. And still, he wants to fight against Donald Trump and the federal government coming in with the National Guard to help. On top of removing illegal immigrants and criminals who have snuck in this country illegally, they would actually help clean up the streets, and he's against that. So if he's against safety and security in the city of Chicago, he's against the people of Chicago. He sat there on MSNBC and said that there was no crime problem, yet that was not corroborated by any of the residents in the city of Chicago, because they've been saying otherwise. So who is he really taking his orders from? Because it's not the people of Chicago.
What's your only in America moment? I'll go first. While Illinois Governor J.D. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson insist crime is under control and don't want the National Guard, 54 people were shot this past weekend and 7 were killed in Chicago. They think crime is under control because they're both surrounded by 24-hour bodyguards and security detail. I wonder if they didn't have that security detail, if they changed their mind.
Chicago streets have become a center of crisis that never seems to end. Over Labor Day weekend, 54 were shot and 7 tragically killed. These are not just numbers. These are fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters whose lives were stolen. We must give credit to the stitches of the video that captured the aftermath and the voice of those in pain. These clips are not just virtual, they are a reminder of the real human cost of violence. But here is the truth. Solving this problem cannot rest on the shoulder of one person alone. The governor and the mayor and the president must work hand in hand to address the root causes of crime, from unemployment and poverty to weak gun control laws and falling community structure. This is a battle that requires unity at every level of leadership. The people of Chicago deserve more than sympathy. They deserve action. Every weekend of gun violence clip away at the hope of family who just want to live in peace. We cannot normalize shooting as just another headline. Leaders must come together with urgency and not policy. This is the time for real collaboration, real investment in community, real reform in policing and justice system. Until then, Chicago will remain caught in a circle that costs life every single weekend.
The carnage, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson just cannot control. Hey, this is Keith, the law enforcement OG. I got 15 plus years experience in law enforcement, so let's get into this right here and right now. Now, I told you that this was going to happen. That's right. Over Labor Day weekend, within the city limits of Chicago, 53 people were shot. 53. 7 lost their lives due to homicide. This is a tragic reality of a city spiraling out of control under the so-called leadership of Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson. He flat out is incompetent, unqualified, and definitely cannot run the city facing the level of violence that is going on right now. Chicago deserves safety, accountability, and a strong leader, not Mayor Johnson. Mayor Johnson is focused more on politics than protecting his people, the residents of Chicago. Families are paying the price, the ultimate price, due to his failures, and that's with their lives and safety. This is crazy. 53 people shot, 7 lost their lives due to homicide. Hey folks, this is sad to me, and I hate the fact that I'm right. I was right, but something has to be done. This is Keith, the law enforcement OG. Give me a follow, share, repost, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm out.
We've been seeing the governor of Illinois parading out there saying that there's nothing wrong with Chicago. It's a great place to live. There's no crime there. He doesn't need President Trump's help. Well, I think the residents of Chicago beg to differ, and the statistics beg to differ. And I'll just share a few of those statistics with all of you. For 13 consecutive years, Chicago has had the most murders of any U.S. city. This is J.B. Pritzker's legacy, by the way. For 7 consecutive years, Chicago has had the highest murder rate among U.S. cities with more than 1 million people. In 2024, just last year, Chicago's murder rate per capita was 3 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 5 times higher than New York City. That's more than double the murder rate in Islamabad and nearly 15 times more than Delhi. Out of Chicago's 147,899 reported crimes this year, that's how many crimes have been reported in Chicago since January 1st. There have only been arrests in 16% of them. These numbers are unacceptable. There have been more illegal guns recovered in Chicago than in New York City and Los Angeles combined. The number of reported motor vehicle thefts last year was more than double the number in 2021. And Chicago has also, just like DC, come under scrutiny over discrepancies in its homicide data reporting. So as bad as these numbers are, perhaps they are even worse. And this is Governor Pritzker's legacy. He should put politics aside. He should pick up the phone and call this president, who would be more than happy to do right by law-abiding American residents in the city of Chicago, and we hope that he will.
This needs to stop. The mayor needs to implement some sort of safety plan, because Chicagoans all across the city is absolutely afraid to even come out of their house. We have children being shot in parks. We have children being shot just walking down the street. We have people being shot going to the restaurant or the club. This is not Chicago.
Activists, faith leaders, and community leaders gathered outside City Hall to condemn the recent violence. They say the city is experiencing high crime rates despite Mayor Johnson's claim that crime is down in Chicago.
And if you look around at the city, at all these prime retail locations, many of them are empty, and many of these office buildings are going bankrupt, or they're having financial difficulty because companies don't want to stay downtown anymore.
I'd like to know if Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago will be attending the 7 funerals of the people that were unalived this past weekend. 7 lives are no longer with us, while you say crime is under control. What are you going to tell their families?
As we reflect on this tragedy, Labor Day weekend, let us remind that behind the statistics are human beings, families, and dreams cut short. Chicago is a city of resilience, but resilience should not mean suffering in silence. To the governor and the mayor, this is the call to work hand in hand with the president to reduce crime, restore hope, and prove that leadership is not about title, but about saving lives. We must contribute to demand accountability, but we must also stand in solidarity with the victim and their family. Let this not just be another story forgotten in a week. Let this be the moment we say enough is enough. Thank you to the stitches of this video that share light to this painful truth, and to you, my viewers. If you believe in raising awareness and pushing for change, don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters. Together, we can make a difference. Thanks.